The leader of the Janata Vimukti Peramuna says the current rulers of the country have failed to pinpoint the true problem facing the Tamil people in the north. MP Anukumar Dissanayake made these remarks at an event held in Vavuniya yesterday.
Is our problem the fact that there is no governance in the north? What is the problem facing the Tamil people in the north today? Is it the fact that they do not have separate government? No, that is Douglas's problem. That is a problem faced by the Vigneswarans and Sambandhans. It is not the people's problem. They are the ones who want a chair they can sit on. They are the ones who want major positions. That is not the problem facing the people. What is the main problem facing the people living in this province today? It is the uncertainty that has been created about the future of their children. The main problem is education. We wish to tell you that under our government, priority will be given to academics, health and sports. We will allocate the majority of funds to these sectors.
The closing ceremony of the Social Integration Week 2014 was held in the Bandaranaike International Memorial Conference Hall. The event was held under the patronage of the Minister of National Languages and Social Integration, Vasudeva Nanayakkara.
The theme of the program was Social Integration through National Unity. The program commenced under the guidance of Venerable Madhuluave Sobitathero. Fire erupts in certain places, but there is public opinion that does not let this fire spread. The incident in Alutgama was a spark of fire, but a counter-opinion was built amongst the public to hinder it from spreading across the country. We cannot stop a certain incident from happening, but we can stop a group of people from acting violently. We can stop the violence that is let loose on normal people. We can do this by initiating the law of the government while creating a public opinion.
The 2014 Colours Night of Gateway College was held last evening at the BMICH in Colombo.
The Colours Night 2014, organised to celebrate the achievements and present colours students at the school who have displayed exceptional talent in sports, was graced by a distinguished gathering including pre-eminent sportsmen and women who have done their country proud on the international stage. Former national tennis champion Arjun Fernando, who at present holds a prominent position in Sri Lanka's banking community, was the chief guest at the event.
Nothing will be possible unless you have passion and commitment. This was a great example from our founder, and I believe it's a good lesson that we could all follow. Let us all as one family follow the path of Mr. Alice. Be committed, be dedicated, so that we will produce nothing but the best.
One other point about team spirit, which is very important today, is to make sure you take on a leadership role being part of a team. I think when you looked at watched the T20 World Cup finals, you saw many captains at different stages. So to the youngsters, my advice is, whilst in a team sport, whilst you keep the spirit, look for that opportunity to lead at times. Even a captain looks for other members to lead at times.
Moving on to news overseas now. Emergency workers in Ukraine say they have now found 196 bodies at the crash site of the downed Malaysia MH17 airliner. Western countries have demanded that Russia put pressure on Ukraine rebels to allow unhindered access to the site of Thursday's crash. Dutch PM Mark Rutte said he had told Russian President Vladimir Putin that time was running out to show he could help. Most of the crash victims were Dutch.
Both Ukraine and the pro-Russian rebels have accused each other of shooting down the Boeing 777, which was flying from Amsterdam to Kuala Lumpur. Flight MH17 was reportedly hit by a missile over rebel-held area in Donetsk region on Thursday. All 298 people on board died. International observers have had their movements around the crash site restricted by pro-Russian militiamen. The US said it was deeply concerned at the limited access to the site. Memorial services were held in Australia, with more planned in other countries later today. Australia's Prime Minister Tony Abbott and his wife Margie Abbott, together with Governor-General Sir Peter Cosgrove and Lady Cosgrove, attended a memorial church service in Sydney today for the passengers and crew of flight MH17.
The downing of MH17 was not an innocent accident. It was the outcome of a trail of human evil. Consider how blame and buck passing is the current strategy of those responsible.
Outside the church, Prime Minister Abbott said the nation's thoughts are with the family and friends of the dead.
This is not the national commemorative service. Obviously, that will take place in a couple of weeks' time when the families and the loved ones of those who are dead have had more time to come to terms with their grief.
At The Hague in the Netherlands, the tone was notably more ominous, with Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte describing as disgusting allegations that bodies were lying in the open at the crash site and that Russian President Vladimir Putin had one last chance to show he's serious about assisting in the recovery of victims' bodies.
Tussen de brokstukken lopen te rotzooien met de persoonlijke en
I was shocked at the pictures of utterly disrespectful behavior at this tragic spot. It appears there are people among the debris and rubbish with recognizable and personal properties of the victims. This is disgusting. I just had an intense telephone conversation with the Russian president. I told him that he has one last chance to show the world he means to help. He must take responsibility now towards the rebels and show to the Netherlands and the world that he does what is expected from him.
gehad met de Russische president.
A U.S. court has ordered the country's second largest cigarette company to pay $23.6 billion to the wife of a smoker who died of lung cancer. The tobacco company was hit with the punitive fine in addition to $16.8 million in compensatory damages. Cynthia Robinson took action against the firm in 2008 seeking compensation for her husband's death in 1996. A company official said the verdict was grossly excessive and impermissible under state and constitutional law. During the 4-week trial, lawyers for Robinson argued that the company was negligent in informing consumers of the dangers of consuming tobacco. This negligence, the lawyers said, led to her husband, Michael Johnson Sr., contracting lung cancer from smoking after becoming addicted and failing multiple attempts to quit. Moving on to sports news now. South Africa beat Sri Lanka by 153 runs on the 5th and final day of the first test to take a 1-0 lead in the 2-match series today. The exceptional Dale Steyn and Mohan Morkel took 4 of the 5 wickets that fell in the morning session to leave Sri Lanka on 161 for 6 at lunch on the final day. The hosts had resumed the day on 110 for 1, but South Africa grabbed an earlier breakthrough when Steyn bowled a perfect length to Kaushal Silva, who managed an edge to wicketkeeper Quinton de Kock to end his innings on 38 and the second wicket stand of 114 for Kumar Sangakkara. South Africa also claimed the wicket of Mahela Jayawardene with the first ball after the first innings breaks when he edged Morkel behind the wicket to de Kock attempt to leave Sri Lanka on 138 for 3.
Chandamal has gone up.
Steyn. And he's nicked it. That's another one. He's got another one. This is
catches the call. It's gone a long way up and Amy de Villiers has got there.
An evaluation report submitted to the Commonwealth Games Federation alleged that there is a high level of corruption in Sri Lanka. Sports First investigative journalism segment The Bitter Truth delves deeper into the issue.
Attention has been turned towards the relocation of the headquarters of the Commonwealth Games Federation, currently located in London, in order to reap economic benefits. Evaluations conducted on prospective host countries have cited Sri Lanka as being unfit for the purpose. The evaluation of Sri Lanka cites security concerns and corruption as the main causes. The evaluation places Sri Lanka among the red category of most corrupt nations.
The usual corruption in Sri Lanka is ingrained in sports administration in the country too. There is no difference in the system in which this corruption takes place. While the politicization of sport takes place through the Sports Act itself, there is plenty of evidence that there is corruption within sports administration.
However, the National Olympic Committee refuses to accept Sri Lanka's classification as a country with high levels of corruption. The committee secretary Maxwell De Silva, in a letter addressed to the president of the Commonwealth Games Federation, questions as to under whose authority and approval the evaluation of Sri Lanka has been carried out. He also notes in his letter that Sri Lanka has not put itself forward officially as a possible candidate country for hosting the CGF headquarters. The president of the NOC, Hemasari Fernando, says the evaluation will be challenged at the upcoming Commonwealth Games Federation AGM. Former Deputy Director of Sports K.S. Piris, however, notes that the establishment of the CGF's headquarters in Sri Lanka will assist in the development of sports in the country.
They themselves said at one time that there is international interference in the country and that the situation is not conducive for independence. They said there were security concerns. Now they are saying that they are prepared and there is no such situation. This is a farcical situation. If we are deprived of such an opportunity, then the President and Secretary of the NOC must take responsibility. Corruption allegations have been levelled against these individuals within the country too.
If the reputation of the country being belittled internationally is to be prevented, shouldn't measures be taken beyond preserving the integrity of sport to preserve the integrity of the country as a whole? Open for debate.
Well, that's a wrap from the Newsfirst team for tonight. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Arundhati Mudanayaka. Have a great week ahead of you. Good night.